Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party. Remain standing for the playing of the national anthem, followed by the invocation given by Chaplain Roberson.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I invite you to pray with me. Almighty Father, I thank you for this new day. I pray that you will bless this gathering as we celebrate and recognize the accomplishments of these fine geospatial engineers upon the completion of all their coursework. Bless them as they go on to a new phase of service, wherever they may be assigned. I pray that you will fill them with a desire to continue to hone their professional skills. May the desire to live a life above reproach and lead by example. Lord, go before them and lay a path that is straight and clear. Make them soldiers of integrity with keen analytical and map-making skills. Now, Lord, bless this ceremony. May our conversations, thoughts, and actions be a blessing of others and pleasing to you. This I pray in your most holy name. Amen. Amen.
Please be seated. Good afternoon, Major Metzger, Command Sergeant Major Danjoint, other distinguished guests, instructors, families, and friends. Welcome to the graduation of the Geospatial Engineer course, Class 01-17. Please feel free to move about and take pictures at any time during the ceremony. On behalf of the 169th Engineer Battalion Command Team and the Geospatial Engineer course, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you and wish all of the graduates the best of luck in their future assignments and endeavors in the United States Army. Participants in today's ceremony are Captain Drew Macy, Bravo Company Commander, Geospatial Engineer Course, NCOIC, Master Sergeant Brian Bergen, and the guest speaker, Warrant Officer Richard Doonan. In a few moments, the graduates will be awarded their diplomas and be inducted into the Engineer Regiment. In the interim, you will hear the history of the Geospatial Engineers and see a video of your soldiers' experiences throughout the course. The origin of geospatial engineers within the military department dates back to the days of the American Revolution. George Washington, who acquired his survey experience in the Fort Belvoir area, appointed Robert Erskine in 1777 as the first geographer and surveyor for the Continental Army to take sketches of the country and the seat of the war. Tom Hutchins, later retained as geographer of the United States, laid out the first ranges of public land in the American West. Lewis and Clark also made their noteworthy contributions in this period. The Army commissioned its first geospatial engineers in the War of 1812. By 1816, 10 helped explore the West and surveyed coastal fortification sites. The year 1817 marked the beginning of the Topographic Bureau, which later played an important role in the growth of our nation. Geospatial engineers became a separate branch of the Army in 1838. Colonel John James Albert led its first 36 officers. For the next 25 years, officers of the Corps of Topographic Engineers explored the western United States and made the first scientific mapping of the region. McClellan, Meade, Abbott, Humphreys, Fremont, and Johnson stand out among many others of distinction. Their compiled maps, pictures, statistics, and reports constitute a significant amount of scientific knowledge of the North American continent. Settlements advanced as the engineers constructed wagon roads, improved riverbed and harbor functions, and laid out national boundaries. Congress decreed March 3rd, 1863, that a merger be formed between the Corps of Topographic Engineers and the Corps of Engineers. Established as-needed schools providing geospatial skills training were few. West Point stood nearly alone as the trainer of engineers until just before the Civil War. Post-Civil War, engineer officers attended the School of Application at Willets Point, Long Island, New York, to learn new methodologies. The map reproduction plant at Fort McNair, Washington, D.C., established in 1910 and expanded that same year by adding a lithographic school. The School of Surveying, Map Reproduction and Ranging, founded in 1918, trained enlisted personnel map-making skills at Camp A.A. Humphreys, Virginia, which is now known as Fort Belvoir. Fort Belvoir's Topo School, an academic department of the U.S. Army Engineer School, became part of the Defense Mapping School in 2004 and became the Defense Geospatial Intelligence School. In 2006, the school was reorganized to form the School of Geospatial Intelligence, and in 2010, cased its colors. It became the Program Operations Military Training Program at the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency College. The military training program began the process of relocating from Fort Belvoir, Virginia to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri in 2012. It is currently known as the Geospatial Engineer course. Now at this time, it is my distinct privilege to introduce the Geospatial Course NCOIC, Master Sergeant Brian Bergen.
Good afternoon, Chaplain Robertson, Major Metzger, Command Sergeant Major Danjoint, and Colonel Retired Hermish, distinguished guests, family, and friends. It's my pleasure to have Warrant Officer 1 Richard Doonan here as our guest speaker. A native of Plymouth, Massachusetts, Mr. Doonan enlisted in the U.S. Army as a 12 Yankee terrain analyst in April of 2010. He attended basic combat training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and later followed on to his advanced individual training at Fort Belvoir, Virginia. Some of his significant assignments include the 70th Engineer Company, Geospatial, 65th Engineer Battalion at Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, where he deployed as the NCOIC of the Company Intelligence and Support Team to Helmand Province, Afghanistan. After his return, his follow-on assignment was to the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team, 1st Armored Division, Fort Bliss, Texas. During his time at Fort Bliss, he decided to transition from active duty to National Guard and submitted his warrant officer application. In September of 2016, he was selected and appointed as a 125 Delta Geospatial Engineering Technician. He is currently attending Warrant Officer Basic course here at the Maneuver Support Center of Excellence at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. After completion of his course, Mr. Doonan will be headed to New York, taking over as the GEOINT OIC for the 46th Infantry Division, New York National Guard. Some of his awards include 3 Army Commendation Medals, 4 Army Achievement Medals, 2 Good Conduct Medals, and many, many more. He currently holds an Associate's in Business Management and working towards his Bachelor's from the University of Massachusetts. He is married to his loving wife, Monica, and is a proud father of a son, Richard, 4, and a daughter, Kyla, who is 1. Feel free to read more on Warrant Officer Doonan's accomplishments, assignments, and decorations in your program. Again, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Warrant Officer 1, Richard Doonan.
Good afternoon. Welcome, distinguished guests, friends, family of the Class 1-17. Good afternoon, and thank you for letting me come to speak at your graduation. I know I'm one of the last things standing between you and going home and seeing your families, so try to make this quick. Just a few short months ago, I was sitting in your same seat down in Fort Rucker, Alabama, awaiting to graduate at Warrant Officer Candidate School. First off, I'd like to thank you for volunteering. to serve the best Army in the world. These are interesting times we live in, and the fact that you signed up says something about you. Whereas a lot of people in today's society are focusing on themselves, what you are doing is the opposite in nature, and choosing to serve others. I also want to thank your family and your friends for supporting you. A piece of advice for all of you is to make sure you build a good network of people and support, especially during your time in the military. The network you make in and out of the military will be the people you lean on for mentorship, guidance, and support. I am fortunate to have served with soldiers that took me under their wing and showed me what right looks like. At a certain point, you will realize that you value individuals' mentorship, no matter their social standing or their rank. Find people in your network who can tell you when you are wrong and how to correct it. You need honest feedback to grow as a person and a soldier. Without those people, I know my time in the military and my personal life wouldn't look anything like it does today. So make sure you thank those people, because they will help you achieve many things in life even if they haven't served a day in your uniform. What makes the engineering field unique is that it's changing literally every day. It affects the entire Army. The engineering field is almost always on the forefront of technology and is ever adapting to fit the needs of the Army. One of the most dynamic fields is our GeoInt field. The definition of geospatial intelligence is the exploitation and analysis of the imagery, geospatial information to describe, assess, and visually depict physical features and geographically reference activities on Earth. Geospatial intelligence consists of three main things: imagery, imagery intelligence, and geospatial information. One of the best things you can do in this ever-evolving field is to stay motivated and determined. The field can be demanding, and that challenge is what makes it, in my opinion, the best career field in the Army. Challenge yourself to continue your education and never stop learning. Education is important in this field because it is very broad. You can always find something new to learn. The field has an enormous amount of potential and opportunities in and out of the Army. For those of you going on an active duty, get the experience at different echelons to broaden your skills and perspectives. On active duty, you will see the world and how your products